A hard life of robbing and stealing in the Brooklyn area of New York was the start of Casanova, with getting locked up at only the age of 12, plus with spending over 7 years in jail and stabbing over 7 people while locked up. Casanova has a unique and one-of-a-kind story. This is Top Trend TV, and this is the criminal history and biography of Casanova.
Produced by Pim Bitch.
Caswell Sr., aka Casanova, was born on October 27, 1986, and was raised in the Brooklyn area of New York by his mother and had a good upbringing. His mother had money and gave Casanova everything he wanted. They even lived in the biggest house in the neighborhood, a house with over 8 bedrooms. But that didn't stop Casanova from trouble. He says he still wanted to fit in, and at an early age, the rush he got from robbing and stealing was addicting. At only the age of 11, Casanova couldn't get enough, which even led him to wait in line for some new Jordans. And when he seen his opportunity, he would snatch the shoes right out of somebody's hands, then would run off as a kid when he first started to get into robbing. But this would soon catch up to Casanova, because at the age of 12, he was locked up for the first time and spent a couple months in juvie. And throughout these next years, he would spend his time going in and out of jail, doing a little over 3 years in total. Then Casanova would find himself in some robberies that would change his life for good. Him and some friends started to go on robbing sprees, robbing check cashing spots around the city. He says he used to rob these places with no mask and with a shotgun, and even though the glass was bulletproof, the shotgun was intimidating, and most of them used to give up the cash pretty easy. He even says they had a trick they used to do where his friend would be like, shoot him, and he would be like, no, he's gonna give up the money, like a good and bad robber. And one time he even got $7,500, but getting caught at a girl's house he went to right after the robbery. They surrounded the whole apartment, and he says out of panic he started to burn his hoodie and flush the bullets down the toilet, which didn't work. And the girl started to panic too, and she said she had to open the door and ended up opening it. Casanova even threw the gun out the back of the window, but with him not knowing, the police was out there to catch the gun. Getting locked up for this robbery, Casanova soon got out after his mother bailed him out days after. But here's where it gets even worse. Casanova ends up robbing another cash check spot, and this time they got over $15,000. But as Casanova was leaving out, somehow one of the guys got outside screaming they was robbing him. And as Casanova was running out, his friend was trapped in the store, getting beat up by the store clerks and his family that lived right above the check cashing spot. Casanova ended up leaving his friend and getting away, days later finding out he was in the hospital. But days after this robbery, they revoked his bail for the last robbery. And this is when Casanova's long prison sentence began, with his lawyer giving him a choice that would literally change his life forever. His lawyer said he could go to trial for the 2 robberies, and one of the robberies didn't have too much evidence on him. But if he blew this trial, he would get 25 years in prison. Or his lawyer could run the charges as concurrent, and he could get 6.5 years. Casanova said it really hit him when the lawyer said, you can take this and see your daughter when she's about 7 or 8, or you can go to trial and risk not seeing her until she's getting married. At this point, Casanova came to reality that he had to make a decision that could change the rest of his life. Casanova ended up taking the 6.5 years, but getting a whole nother year for being involved in a stabbing in jail. And throughout that time being in prison, Casanova said he stabbed over 12 people and spent over 3 years in the hole throughout his 7-year period. Casanova said being in solitary confinement really changed his mentality and made him really go crazy inside. They had him on medication, and he said he cut off his whole family throughout this period. He also was locked up with the rapper A$AP Rocky. He also joined the Non-Trade Bloods in his time being in prison. He says they would fight so much, they would have a night where they would have fight night. And he fought the Bloods so much that they just decided to take him on their side. After doing 7.5 years, Casanova got out. With only $4,700 in his bank account, Casanova quickly found out that wasn't enough. Then, months later, getting locked up again for a robbery he said he didn't do. Going through this process again, Casanova found out he had to do something different. So when he got out this time, he called his sister up. Getting a job as a construction worker, he figured out that he had to get from around the people he was associated with. But this job didn't last too long for Casanova and ended up quitting months later. And this is where Casanova began to take music more serious, dropping his first song in 2016 named Don't Run. And this song went crazy in the city with over 4.6 million views. With Casanova beginning to gain attention from all over, he dropped his first album in 2017 named Be Safe Though. Then Casanova dropped Commissary in 2018. Then following that, he dropped Behind These Scars in 2019. With all of these albums doing pretty good, Casanova has also been in some beef in the past with a serious rapper with the name of 6ix9ine. And this rapper is very dangerous and almost destroyed Casanova's career. But on December 2020 of this year, Casanova and 17 others was indicted on gang-related charges. Surrendering to police, authorities said Casanova, whose real name is Caswell Sr., was among the members of the untouchable Gorilla Stone Nation, a street gang alleged of committing crimes in New York City and state, including a September murder of a 15-year-old in Poughkeepsie. Casanova is not charged in the murder, but faces one count of conspiracy to commit racketeering and conspiracy to distribute controlled substances, and a gun possession charge. According to the U.S. Authorities Office, he pleaded not guilty to the charges and is in custody while a bail proposal is being prepared, his authorities said. Mr. Senior, aka Casanova, is confident that the truth will emerge and that he will be exonerated. Throughout this time, Casanova has spoken out on social media and said the following.
I'm fighting serious charges right now, but I'm innocent, that's one. Two, I've been fighting my whole life, so I'll get through this. Just understand how they can get you jammed up. You don't know nobody, you ain't got nothing to do with nothing, they still get you jammed up. Rappers, we are a target. Just be careful out there. Watch who you associate with. Watch who people bring you around. I'll see y'all soon, God willing.
Casanova also has a baby mother that he's been with throughout this whole process and has one child. Hopefully Casanova can make it through this situation, but that'll be about it for Casanova. Make sure you like or dislike, comment, and subscribe. And let me know down there in the comments who y'all want to see next. And as always, stay blessed and stay well. Yeah, I'm out.